Now let's look at how we can add a web performance test to this application. Simply right-click on your test project and select Add, New, and then you can specify Web Performance Test directly here, or under New Test or New Item, you'll find it there as well. I'm just going to click Web Performance Test. And this will start a recorder, which I can use to then record some of the pages from my application. In this case, I've already determined that my application is running on localhost port 26641. So I'll simply paste that in and begin navigating through my application. So here's the MVC Music Store running on my local machine. And I can decide what I want to do with this particular web test. Maybe I just want to record the home page and have that be a standalone test. Or maybe I want to go through a common user scenario where they might browse around for a bit, perhaps add some things to their cart, and maybe decide to check out. For this initial test, we're just going to record one page, which is the home page, and then we'll stop the recording there. Now you can see that each of the URLs that I record is listed here in this tree view. You can also add some comments to them. So if we want to click in here and add a comment, we could say that this is the home page. And those get added into the queue of requests as well. So now we'll stop our recording. And Visual Studio will do some detection of dynamic parameters. We'll talk about what that means in just a moment. And when it's finished, we'll see the web test listed here with all of its requests. Now in this case, our page is failing, as you saw. The first thing it does is it tries to run the test. And if we look at the reason for it, you can see it says that one dependent request failed. Now the dependent requests in this case include this favicon file. And in this case, the MVC Music Store does not actually include a favicon. So I can either add one or I can simply delete this dependent request. In this case, it's simplest to delete the dependent request simply by hitting the delete key. And then I can run the test again and confirm that it should work now that that request has been removed. And you see that we now have a passing test. And we can see that there are still some other dependent requests included here, including a CSS file, a JavaScript file, and another image file. Now let's look at some of the results that we get after running one of these web tests. First, we'll see what the browser would have rendered. Next, we can examine under the Requests tab all of the headers that were passed, any cookies or query string or form post parameters. These are all the things that we're sending to the web server with this request. Next, in the Response tab, we'll see the raw results that came back from the web server. So in this case, we can see the headers that are coming back. You can see I'm running ASP.NET MVC version 3 according to my server. And then you can see the raw HTML that's coming back as well. If you like, you can click and view this in an HTML editor so that you have some color coding. Next, under the Context tab, you'll see a lot of the tracking variables that the web test runner is managing as part of this test. Since I only have one web agent running, you'll see that I have an agent ID here specified as 1. Down at the bottom, you'll see also total agents and other values here all specified as 1 as well. And you can see here where the various files from these test results are being stored if you need to go and locate those. And then finally, under the Details tab, this simply shows that the response URL and response time goals all passed. We'll look at how we can add custom validation to this web test in just a moment. So now let's look back at our test and go through and examine what we can do with the test in order to modify it.